Oh, that's why Farsight never returned back to the Tau Empire and formed the Farsight Enclave after his Ethereal got killed, and after so long of fighting the orcs on the front lines, it started the. I don't know if it's confirmed or not. I haven't been reading through the updated Tau rules, but basically the Ethereals have some form of psychic influence, which is how they are indoctrinating Tau society. So without that consistent influence to maintain that balance, Farsight eventually, kind of started to unravel himself and realize that it's like, no, I ain't fucking going back. Of course, the fucking sword that he found didn't help either because that's a demon blade. Um, at the time that that front was being attacked, I think it was more along the lines of he wanted to make sure that the orcs didn't press into the Tau Empire. But after his ethereal was killed, they wanted to recall him back so that way they could, send another one out there. But because the Tau do not have the same level of space travel, they were not going to be able to send an ethereal back to him in any kind of reasonable time. So it made more sense to recall him. He refused and remained there. The addition for the tabletop when they actually gave like the full-on Farsight Enclave their own, I wouldn't really say rules, but supplement. Um, Honestly, if I was going to play Tau again, that would probably be what I would do. Mainly because of the 13 HQ formation, which is absolutely hilarious. Basically, it is. Let's see, I think there are 3 or 4 Crisis Suit commanders that are HQ units. There's one Broadside HQ unit, a Riptide HQ unit, and then I think there's a mix of like cadre commanders and something else. Um, Basically, you get a shitload of points for running that. It's very expensive to run, but honestly, having a Riptide HQ unit is pretty overpowered because the Riptide is gross. A crisis suit that's about 2 or 3 times the size of a standard crisis suit with guns to match. No, it's not a Titan. It's actually still a standardized unit. The only Titan class armament that they have, I think, is the Manta. I mean, that thing literally fields an entire army in and of itself. I have only ever seen that model in person once. Its wingspan is 3 feet. Has 3 layers inside of the ship itself, and you can actually disassemble it to, essentially store units inside of it. It's not quite big enough to actually store a vehicle, but they do have scaled down vehicles to sit inside, like the hangar bay and shit like that. Unlike the Thunderhawk and the Thunderhawk transport for the Space Marines, they actually have the appropriate space for Rhinos and Land Raiders. I don't remember what the rules are for it because I'm not a Tau main player. I would have to look and see if they've updated any of the Apocalypse rules. But I actually did not have the misfortune of facing the Manta, so I don't precisely know what all the rules are. Hmm. Oh, basically just detonating the entire thing. I don't know. I would have to look at it because they have modified the rules since the last time I played an Apocalypse game. They gave a lot of vehicles, instead of having hull points, they gave them actual hit points. So, of course, the vehicles have like an obscene amount of hit points, but they have downscaling abilities the more damage that they take. So, like, they'll be able to fire less weapons, or they'll lose ballistic skill accuracy as their hit points drop lower and lower. So, I mean, that ability might be there. I don't know. I think probably my favorite Apocalypse unit is the Necron's Tesseract Vault. The Aeon Orb. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's unnecessary. No, the Tesseract Vault is... The Tesseract Vault was... what is it? It's like 100 C'tan shards that are all combined together to form one Ascendant C'tan. The C'tan itself doesn't do a whole lot of power or do a whole lot of damage on the tabletop by itself, but when it's mounted inside of the Tesseract Vault and the Tesseract Vault is opened to be able to attack, the thing is a fucking monster. Basically, think of a Necron monolith that is used to contain a C'tan. No, Apocalypse, even in the tabletop, Apocalypse is not very well balanced. Mm. I mean, a lot of the armies outside of Space Marines, Chaos, Astra Militarum, Eldar, they don't have a lot to bring to the board that can do equivalent damage. Oh, geez. Yeah, Angron's huge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bloodthirsters are terrible to deal with. I think the last time that I did Apocalypse, the one unit I did not want to face was the Greater Demon of Slaanesh. That thing does an obnoxious amount of damage, and it has an obnoxious amount of attacks. Like, that thing is not balanced at all. I mean, if you guys want to get a good idea of what Apocalypse units are available for 40k, just go to the Forge World website. You can look through all of the army lists and see what's there. Like I said, Space Marines, Astra Militarum, Chaos, and Eldar, they probably have seen the most attention in terms of Apocalypse units. I mean, I think the only other army that has like a close relevant Titan would be the Orcs. And it's basically sheet metal fastened together on a frame with a bunch of fucking guns on it. Yeah, the Mega Stompa. Mm-hmm. Oh, of course, it's painted red. Guy that I played 40k with, he had a Stompa, and he also had the. It was a new unit at the time, but he had me paint the smaller one while he had somebody else professionally paint the Stompa, and the theme was Shrek and Donkey. Shrek was the Stompa. I mean, thematically speaking, it would have been way funnier, but yeah, the first time that he brought the Stompa back out on the board after he got it painted, he put it up against my Reaver Titan. I destroyed it in the first turn. I mean, when I have 3 destroyer weapons with 3 shots apiece, nothing's going to survive. I mean, I basically just pick a target every turn and erase it. Yeah. I mean, I even went up against an entire Imperial Knight cadre. It took me 3 turns to wipe everything off the board. No, Reaver Titan is not fun to play against. That being said, it is also 1,600 points. So it is an army in and of itself. No, it's the second biggest. The Scout Titan's the smallest, then there's the Reaver Titan, then there's the Warlord Titan, and then the Emperor class Titan, which quite literally has a building mounted on the back of it. Mm-hmm. They don't even make a model for it. Okay, it depends on what army you're playing. If you're playing a Horde army, most models are going to be like 3 to 5 points apiece. If you're playing Space Marines, most of them I think are between 15 and 20 points apiece. Squad capping at about 10 units. Most Horde armies cap out at 20. Some of them go as high as 50. But in terms of what it can destroy, it all depends on how you have it kitted out. I have mine kitted out to destroy big threats, not to destroy infantry, because infantry is not a threat unless it has melta-bombs. Yeah, the gun is not going to do any damage. Mm-hmm. Uh, I didn't know that they made an XV1 Riptide Titan. I actually have the Riptide model. I'll take a picture of it real quick and send it to you. The other picture is just for size comparison. They're not Titan class units, but they are big in comparison. And I modified the shield on my Riptide so that way the wings are open instead of like being draped back over the arm. Then probably when they introduced the Riptide, I just post both pictures in the Meme Supremes. No, probably when that mod was made, the Riptide might have been, or I'm just gonna go look on Forge World before I start talking about dumb shit. Listen here, goddammit, that's not even all of it. Those are just my favorites. Dude, I don't want to go into a... This is what I want. I want to go to the home page. Why is this taking me to a fucking queue? I think you... Can you send me a picture of what you're looking at, Onage? Like a screenshot or something? Oh, oof. Yeah, that's the Supremacy armor. That's their Titan equivalent. And I think by scale, I think it's about twice as big as the Riptide model. Nah, maybe not. Maybe not twice the size. Maybe 1.5 times. So I'm looking at it in comparison to the Warlord. Oh, that's literally just the Riptide. They probably just fielded it as a Titan unit, but it's not actually classified as a Titan. It's a heavy support. Mm-hmm. Now, this was the model that came out after the Riptide. It's based off of the Riptide frame, um, but that is a true heavy support. That's basically what would happen if a broadside and a Riptide had a baby. I mean, that thing literally mounts itself into the ground and then shoots at you. Yeah, I mean, you have to waste a turn basically mounting it into the ground, but once you mount it into the ground, that thing just deletes units. So you better make sure it's got some good cover. Probably. And also, here is a Tau army with a Manta in the background. Yeah. And then here's a human standing next to it. I mean, this is basically a person holding up the Tau Manta, so you can see just how big it actually is. Yeah, the Manta is probably the size of, like, two Thunderhawks. But if you're wanting reference, just look at your thumb. That's about the size of the average 28mm model. So do I, but it's still about the same size. But yeah, exciting. Get really big hands or really big feet, which means we wear really big shoes and really big gloves. I'm wondering if Joey actually looked at my response. Hmm. Yeah, I know. They need to be boosted so you can get back to the soundboard. Yes. Yeah, you should be. Unfortunate. Anyway, speaking of skill issue, we should probably get started since we're 38 minutes. Yeah, we're here for something besides bullshitting. Yeah, there you go. I only have one thing to say to that. Yeah, I already got Joey with that. I think he's worn out. To wait 10 minutes. This would explain why you're into Pixie Chicks instead of the Dixie Chicks. You have problems. I have seen Fern Gully. Oh god, fucking Biden blast. Alright, so anyway, does anybody remember where we were 3 weeks ago? Yeah, the RP you fucked this shit, I'm out. Yeah, you did. The last place you were was outside the doorway because you were commenting and then you all left afterwards. So as far as where you went after that, I have no idea. Let's see, random spawn. I'm thinking you spawn... Yeah, definitely in the trackless sea. So good luck. I hope you can swim in full plate. Um, I think I have a better idea for the propulsion. I'm gonna have to dig for it though. Yeah, uh-oh, indeed. Oh, God. That would be amusing. I gotta be honest, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find this. How Dracus would be propelling himself through the water. Yep, I have no idea where this is at. And I'm not gonna dig through my phone. No, no. He just said random spawn, so consequently I randomly spawned him in the ocean. Anyway. No, you guys are still in the bar, as far as I know. Unless you guys are saying that you went somewhere crazy. So, if you want to do something dumb, now's your chance. Oh, now you're just outside? Outside. Was that the last thing you typed? I have to go look. Oh yeah, downstairs outside for fresh air and to stretch a little. Okay, so Strom's outside. I don't know where everybody else is. Ziggy's resting. Oh, actually, Dracus is still standing in the room. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees, and for some fucking reason, they're speaking Vietnamese. I mean, at least they're not saying 6 million wasn't enough. Those are some fucked up trees. $9,999. Indie bar. Well, I think now would be an appropriate time for Kalmar to finally be done putting away the wagon and the horses. So I would imagine she's at the bar. Unless the police stole Kalmar. I mean, we have been playing. We're trying to isolate where everybody's at. Where are you? In the bar? What in the fuck was that? Yeah, I know. Theris was just leaning against the wall. I was like, you guys are very entertaining. And that was all he said. Right, and then he casts 2 spells and then gets high as fuck and stands off in the distance. Or he could be casting Eldritch Blast at the darkness. That is true. Fight in the darkness. Failure was the only option. Task failed successfully. Oof. Oh, we know who it was. Well, I wonder exactly where Theris is going to be at for today. Let's roll an Eldritch Blast. Oh God. Oh no. God damn it, Charlie. Down a flight of stairs chasing after his wife. Okay, so I think we have determined, yeah, we have determined where everyone is at after Theris's head exploded into confetti and everyone cheered. Oh man. So anyway, as you guys are just enjoying the atmosphere of the tavern, about 20 minutes later, Risen comes back with Jax in his human disguise and joins you all at the table. Jax. I don't think either of your characters have ever actually met him in person. Yeah. Actually, circumstantially, maybe. No, no, your characters have never met. Correct. You're just seeing a man with an eye patch, a very large hat with a big ass fucking feather in it, and probably the best dressed person in this room. Hands down. Well, Ziggy is asleep. I don't know about Babimbap. Unless he's still playing poker by himself. Ah, I see. So he's watching him sleep and he's just knitting in the corner? Nice. Ah, showing off his skills with his bag of pipes. I don't know. I mean, realistically speaking, every time you have done a performance check with your bag of pipes, you've knocked it out of the park. So, I mean, I'm kind of thinking something along the lines of like Blue Man Group. Hey, man, if somebody suffocates from laughter, I'm doing my job well. Not appropriate for all audiences. Pole lace. That's it. I mean, that is true. He's just standing there in the background giggling to himself. No, what is actually going on is it's just like the Monty Python scene where they're watching the guy ride up on the horse. And they're like, is he getting any closer? I don't know. This goes on for like 2 minutes, and then he just immediately shows up and kills them both. But anyway, Jax joins you guys at the table and is looking around at the group that's gathered here. Which, let's see, this would consist of Theris, Dracus, I'm assuming Sankira because Zach hasn't said anything, and Kalmar, as well as Risen since he came back with him. No, they did not come in through the front door. Well, I mean, you guys have an understanding from your first encounter with Jax that there is part of an underground network that is attached to the building. That is basically where Breaking the Earth makes a lot of their movements is done through the underground. Oh, let's see. I don't think a Thanos quote is appropriate here. I mean, it just keeps popping into my head because I watched Avengers Endgame not too long ago. So the quote, "You couldn't live with your own failure, and where did that bring you? Back to me." It's like, nah, not quite. Yes, yes, to Weevil. It's just Bibimbap holding the bag of pipes, just playing the Avengers theme. Stealthing through the bar with a bag of pipes. It's just a whistling noise. It's not the wind. But yes, anyway. Jax joins the five of you at the table and just kind of takes a relaxing pose, slinging his arm over one side of the chair, and gives you all a once-over look. Well, I see that the dynamic here is a little different than before, but Risen's telling me that you need something from me. Or anyone's cue, for that matter. Oh, Jesus. Medium rare. I mean, he really has no prompting reason to come back inside at this point. So it's up to the five of you to figure it out. Lol. Yes. Well, at Dracus's response, he just kind of cocks his head and gestures with his hand for more information. Oh man. Dracus is like, I didn't think I'd get this far. What do I say? The riveting dialogue. Oh my god! At this point, we're writing the script for the next Michael Bay movie. Need help with Xanatos? What's going on? Between the three of you, Jax kind of like starts putting the pieces together, and he's like, "Why did you take him to me? Why didn't you just take him to a cleric? You have a cleric in your group. What is going on?" We don't have the appropriate cable to hook him up to the wall. Right, you watch the exchange and kind of have a understanding that yes, the whatever is needed is basically what you did, but on a much larger scale. I mean, you might be able to articulate it better if you make an arcane check. Hey, there we go. So Bibimbap is articulating this. Replacing the rudimentary details of weird finger wiggly shit that made him get up, and oh boy, we're just getting progressively better and better. So between the three of you, you guys are able to articulate the problem in a more concise manner. That yes, he has magically exhausted himself. He has exhausted a resource that he does not have access to recharge. However, whatever that resource does, it is keeping him conscious. So him being unconscious, out of energy, unable to recuperate, he needs to get back to where he can recharge. As far as where that is, you guys only know the name. As far as articulating exactly where that's at, not so much. Other than the fact that it is not on this plane. And Jax kind of nods along with the explanation, understanding surprisingly well, considering who he is, exactly what you guys are describing. And once everybody's done talking over each other and getting the explanation out to him, he says, "So you're coming to me for planar travel to a location that I do not know anything about, have never been to, and you say that this is Xanatos' home. Hmm. And Jax just kind of taps a finger on his lips, slowly starting to grin. I personally may not be able to help you, but I think I might know someone who can. So, why don't you gather your friends and meet me in the back room in 5 minutes while I gather my friends, and we'll sit down and see what we can figure out." Oh no. That is amazing. Well, Kelonar will be able to give more information since he knows more than the rest of you about Istar. So he would be able to articulate what you guys actually don't know. The finer points, anyway, that whoever it is that's going to help you is going to be able to answer with the appropriate information. Well, I mean, Sylvana did cast lesser restoration on him, so with a, I mean, you could take a short rest for 30 minutes to an hour, which there's kind of a wiggle room here as far as how long he's been laying down. If you want to have him rejoin, more than welcome to. Just swap him out for Bibimbap. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hmm. So who's going to tell the scaly bastard that's standing outside, still in a permanent stretch emote? Hmm. And Risen goes back to Xanatos' room and tags out with Kilo and R and Sylvana. So he will remain in the room while those two can come down and join for the conversation. Those were Dom's fucking tomatoes! Damon Baird, you're a cock! Nope, I'm hearing loud noises from the other room. Hello. Who the hell caught that?
My mother.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck, that's awesome.
Her mom is on vacation right now with her brother in, what is it, Michigan?
Yeah.
Michigan. And she just showed me a picture of a fish that is about the length of my fucking arm that she pulled out of the lake. Wait, who did we let go to waste in a bin? Oh, that's unfortunate. Maybe for the sake of simplicity, for you, so that way you're not bouncing back and forth. If you're not minding it, I mean, at this point, you're still kind of in like the handoff period for the character. So, yeah, yep. Isn't that usually how it goes? No, no. Brothers through moss. Oh yeah, I forgot what your answer was. How does bibimbap sort as moss? By taste or by color? Well, one has to supersede the other. Well, because you'll have to either group them by taste and then they're organized in a ascending or descending order by color, or they're organized by color and then within that organized by taste. Okay, so they're being sorted by taste. I I don't even know how you could. I mean, this is a level of stupidity that it's just like you're adding the suffix the long way. The same way that I usually respond to people when they say something and they end it with a noun, and then I say, well, you're that noun. I was like, oh, I'm going to go play Diablo 4. Well, you're Diablo 4. But what if I only want the wrong way? Yeah. Oh, God. What did you find it? Okay, for the sake of fair use, because I was unable to actually pause that, I'm going to provide commentary on what I just witnessed. And essentially, what this was is this was a file that played a really shitty Christmas song that nobody wants to listen to. And anybody who has worked in any kind of like Walmart esque job has had to listen to repeatedly over and over and over again from the time of Thanksgiving till sometime after the first of the year because they just want to torture you and break your fucking soul. And as I tried to pause this to stop it because I did not want to be tortured by this, there was no way for me to stop it other than to actively move to a different channel. That with the words no inside of it. I mean, if there was enough variety of Christmas music, I think it would be okay. But the problem is you hear the same six fucking songs over and over and over again for a month and a half. Okay, I do take that back. I could probably get away with listening to Trans Siberian Orchestra on repeat for an entire month. Oh, yes, she finally did it because she fucking looked. Oh, God. You know, I might actually crop that down further and turn it into a fucking React. That would be great. I'm sure my wife would appreciate it. Well then, new regrets. Yeah, yeah. Joey already got done with his trip on the casting couch. Oh. That was a glorious discovery. All right. So anyway, Strom has been gathered. Sylvana and Kiloanar have been gathered. Ziggy Stardust has been gathered. And you guys all make your way towards the back room where Jax has his door open. And standing next to him is another familiar drow that you guys recognize to be Camuriel Oblodra. Oh no, it would be Joey. It's not an assumption. Amazing. Anyway. So as soon as the last of you get into the room, the door pulls itself closed, and Jax touches the brim of his hat and returns to his normal appearance, that of a drow as well. So for the three characters that have never seen Jax before, now you are seeing that the disguise is in fact a disguise. It would be like a charcoal color. And you're a bugbear. And Jax just kind of like lightly rests his closed fist against his cheek with one finger next to his eye and just keeps looking at Bibimbap, engaging in the ad hoc staring contest. I guess this would be a Constitution check to avoid blinking. No, that is the correct way to do that. Let's see. All right, so Bibimbap blinks first. Well, Jax continues staring at Bibimbap until Camuriel just kind of rolls his eyes and sighs. Jarlaxle, you brought me here for a reason, not to witness a staring contest. And still staring like dead ass at Bibimbap, Jarlaxle responds with, while that may be true, I am fully capable of doing two things at once. So, now that everyone is here, I've informed my associate Camuriel of your plight, and he does have a few questions for you regarding exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish. And at this point, Jax just continues staring at Bibimbap while Camuriel takes over. Well then. So, while this staring contest and unnecessary nipple play is going on, Camuriel takes the lead in the conversation and just kind of lazily looks at each and every one of you as he's speaking. So, Jarlaxle explains to me that you are attempting to engage in planar travel without actually knowing precisely where you're traveling to, just the name of the location. You do understand the measure of difficulty of this task is going to entail, don't you? I mean, yes, he does know, quote unquote, where, but not in a arcane sense of trying to connect 2 points in space. Apparate? You are more than welcome to. um, Jarlaxle appears unbothered by the minor illusion. There is literally no reaction on his face at all whatsoever after your casting of the minor illusion. Camuriel? um, yeah, you guys have been in here before. This is a rather large room The last time you guys were in here, every time that door opens and closes, the room is vaguely different in some way, shape, or form. But uh, Ziggy would probably be able to give you guys a better explanation upon entering the room as far as like what this is. I'm just saying that upon your entering of this room, you would have picked up on some. You're not standing in a what would be considered a physical space. You were standing in a magical space. So if you want to make an arcane check in order to identify what it is that you're in, no, that was my fault. I probably should have pointed that out as soon as you guys came in here. Oh my god. We just witnessed a moment of Captain America stepping up to fucking Iron Man. He's like, "Take off the suit. What are you? Billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. What about you?" Yes, you could try for an arcane check because both of you have never been in this room. So, oh, Sankira has never been in this room. I mean, third time's the charm. We're either going to get a nat 20 or another nat 1. Okay, there we go. We finally got something successful. Sankira, you recognize this to be a, well, quite literally the spell Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion. Yep. So essentially, this is a secure space that is portal linked to that doorway in some way, shape, or form. As far as like how it is keyed, without doing a deeper investigation, you wouldn't really be able to know. But this is a magical space that this definitely is not the original room. As of course, it makes no sense for walking into this room for as big as it is. Magic. Wait, what is a tattoo? This is true. But anyway, so since Sankira has identified what the room is and refuses to tell anybody, nobody else knows what this room precisely is, other than the fact that it makes precisely no sense for anybody that has even a rudimentary geographical knowledge. It would be a. Actually, you know what? Go ahead and try and read her mind, because Well, here's your justifiable reason. Okay, so you just witnessed, the man that was used as a battery, just like look at his hands. He's like, magic. And as you're kind of looking around the room, you're like, I don't really know what this is. who is the last person that actually has any level of arcane knowledge? It would be Sankira. And if Sankira is not opening her mouth, what would be the obvious thing that he would do? This is a rudimentary ability for him. And as soon as you go to probe that, you meet a concrete wall. There is no roll. You literally can't read her mind. No, it's not even a racial ability. You can literally feel a impermeable barrier when you try and brush against her thoughts. I know exactly how it is. I mean, honestly, Luna is probably a perfect allegory for Sankira's behavior. It's like the only reason I'm here is because you're the only person that'll pay me. And I'm sure at some point, someone, probably Dracus, has asked if Millie pegs him. Why is the ship rocking to the left repeatedly? Oh, God. Yes, you do. Wait a minute. This would explain why you were like fixated on the subject of Dracus Risen Yowie. No, I did not start that. No, I did not start that. What you had specifically said caused the thought process to go, and I brought it up to you that I'm like, you need to stop, and you refused to stop. You continued exacerbating the thought. No, it's because I have a good friendship with Sean, and so consequently I share my frequent thoughts with him, and we both got a good laugh out of it. He chose to run with it. I would have been happy to just leave it at that. I thought it was funny the first time. When we got to the third iteration of it, I'm like, oh, God. So, anyway. Oh, my God. Grunkle Drac. No, you just like to ask questions about how they're feeling. No, you spray their neighbors with the axe body spray generated by the viscera that you use from swinging your axe. No, a more accurate description would be Sylvana is the mom of the group. Dracus is probably like the stepdad of the group. That just like he's here, but he knows that you guys aren't his kids, so he really doesn't give a shit, and he just kind of does what he wants to do. Ferris is probably closer to a grandpa. Oh, he's actually older than Risen. Hmm. I mean, I think they're within 10 years of each other. It's not a sizable difference, but right. And so after the distraction that actually results in no benefit to the party because Sankir is a cunt. Um, I'm. I mean, everybody knows that she's a mock finger wiggler, so I don't know. Can you? Anything you can do, I can do better. And this is why Sankira gets beaten every night before she goes to bed. It would be an insight check. So you're going to have to beat a 19 for to see through the deception here. Okay, so Sankira, what are you lying about for no fucking reason? How does that work? You, the way that this works, because you were the one that is actually attempting it, that is the DC. By meeting or exceeding the DC, that is a success. So Ziggy is able to actually see through your bullshit. As is Kalmar. Because you chose to lie, you insipid little shit. I know. I want to hear the lie before we continue any further. Yeah. So that shrug of bullshit was saw through by two party members. So yes, it's Bibimbap and Lil Bimpy, or not Lil Bimpy, Kalmar. Well, that's going to be a wisdom save. No, that is not how that works. Okay, so Sankira spills the beans as she remembers exactly what happened when Strom threw a dagger at Kalmar the last time and doesn't want to be on the wrong end of the business end of that stick. And so proceeds to inform everyone of exactly what this room is. Thank you. That's done and over with. Now we can continue. Zach literally over here prolonging this unnecessarily rather than engaging in something hilarious. No, you willfully lied to the party for no fucking reason. What is your alignment, Zach? Neutral good. A neutral good character typically acts altruistically without regard or against lawful precepts such as rules or tradition. That was a very altruistic lie, wasn't it? Chaotic neutral makes a hell of a lot more sense. Chaotic neutral archetype free spirit. A chaotic neutral character is an individualist who follows their own heart and generally shirks rules and traditions. That sounds an awful lot more like Sankira. Let's go fix that real quick. Yep. It's Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion, which essentially is an extra dimensional space that is. Yeah, the Sanctum is kind of a component part to what this spell would be. Essentially, it is free from prying eyes. There's no way to eavesdrop on this room without actively being in the room itself, because it exists in an extraplanar space. So unless you know precisely where this extraplanar space exists, you would not be able to actively spy on it. Correct, which is why the door closed. Anyway, back to the nonsense explanation. Now that that's done and over with. So, fast forwarding back to where we actually were. Keelonar adds to what Kimuriel had just said by saying, it's not quite that simple either. And Kimuriel kind of raises an eyebrow to him. Not only is this in a different plane, it is also tied to multiple planes. And does not run in tandem with the rest of the planar structure. And Kimuriel just kind of stares at Keelonar. So what you are asking for is to have a mage essentially try and hit a point that you can't see, that you don't know where it is, and the target is moving. How precisely am I going to accomplish this task when what you are asking for is impossible? But that's not really the way that the magic works. As Keloinar tries to interject, Camuriel steps up to Jarlaxle's desk and pulls out a loose parchment and grabs a hold of an ink and quill and proceeds to draw several circles and begins labeling some of the smaller circles as well as labeling the larger one as the material plane. And explains that in order for planar travel to actually be possible, you need to know what plane you are attempting to connect to and where that plane is at any given moment. So we're not talking about a fixed point in planar space. We are talking about a moving point in planar space. And as he gestures to all of the space in between, he says, "This is the astral sea. This space is far more massive than any of the other planes in existence. And you're telling me that a place called Istar exists somewhere in this space and it is constantly moving." No. Never would have heard of this place. You can make an Arcana check to kind of get a grasp of what Istar actually is. Oh my. Nobody's really having a great day. Um, from your rudimentary understanding, without actually taking time to study exactly what this could potentially be, this sounds like a pure arcane creation that far exceeds your knowledge, skill, or capability. This isn't something that exists naturally. This had to be created. Now, as far as Sankira, are you going to lie to the group again? Okay. Oh, no. I wasn't going to say shit until I determined whether or not Zach was going to lie. So, anyway. What Sankira is able to garner from this description of where Istar essentially exists at, this would be something that only an archmage would be capable of creating. And based on Dracus's description of being there, so I'm assuming he's contributing something to this conversation to kind of add context, that the spell itself is not something that Sankira would even be capable of replicating under any circumstances. That only somebody who has mastery over the weave would be able to actually harness it to create. This is a creation level magic. So not only was this created in a point in space, but also has movement on top of that. Whatever this is like a magnum opus for a wizard. If you wanted to create one. Well, Camuriel's prompting of, not knowing exactly where to look, how to look for it. Keylornor draws out his sword and sets it on the table and points to the crossguard and then flips the crossguard over and then points to the pommel. And as you guys get a closer look at it, you can see that there is actually platinum inlay in some kind of runic language that Ziggy would recognize right off the bat as being essentially like a portal key. And Keylornor would nod and would say each of these runes ties to a specific portal on Istar. Without the proper they would be runic words in... As far as what it is translating to, it's actually just nonsense words. It doesn't make a sentence. It doesn't, formulate anything of any kind at all whatsoever. They are just individual words in this runic language. With your ability to read that, tied in with a little bit of your own personal knowledge, this is a dead language. Probably very close to Latin. But anyway, Keylornor then reaches over and takes the quill from Camuriel and pulls on the parchment and then draws 5 separate circles. In those 5 separate circles, he writes the runes in a circle according to the way things are set up on his crossguard, on the pommel, and states that this is essentially the portal key to link to this specific portal on Istar. What they need to achieve is enough magical energy to repower the sword to be able to open the portal. The reason why he was able to do that is because that sword's power for that key is tied directly to Xanatos. If it wasn't tied to Xanatos and had its own way of powering itself, he would have been able to open a portal and immediately take Xanatos there. And Camuriel kind of looks over the runic sigils and the circles and takes a look at Keylornor's sword. And he says, I don't think the sword itself, without it truly being connected to a magical source like the Archmage, I don't think any wizard would be able to manually power that. What we would essentially need to do is perform a ritual within that ring that you've drawn right there that is going to be able to draw enough magic into it in order to link the portals together. Ideally, if we could do it in a place that was formed over a magical font or has magical energy being drawn to it, we could tap into that, manipulate it, and potentially power the planar link and be able to open a portal to leave. And Jarlaxle stops staring at Bibimbap long enough to turn and look up at Camuriel, and he says, well, what about the host tower of the Arcane? We know that ties into Quzor Laren. No, no, go ahead. Okay. Amazing. Bibimbap just grabs a plant and just holds it in front of his face. Starts giggling. Be the tree. This is for Phil. That is a lot of nat ones. But Camuriel looks at Jarlaxle and raises an eyebrow at him. Do you think that there would be enough residual energy there? We would have to do a full inspection of that tower to see what residual energy remains. Yes, it might be tied in with Qzor Laren as well as the Primordial, but we have no way of drawing power from it. And Jarlaxle just kind of shrugs and says, well, and he points at Ziggy, Theris, and Sankira. We have 3 knowledgeable wizards right here, or arcane students, if you will. Why not take them and go inspect the tower? Take as much time as you need. Now, as far as crafting this portal, you're talking about making a ritual. What kind of materials are we going to need for this? And Camuriel shakes his head and is like, Jarlaxle, your ability to spend money unnecessarily is only dwarfed by your ego. And Jarlaxle just starts laughing out loud. He says, so how much is it going to cost me? I will send you a full list of the materials that I need, and you can compensate Break and Dierth for their work and the labor required in order to create the inscriptions. And I warn you, Jarlaxle, it will not be cheap. You can't take it with you. So, at this point, you guys have a task in mind, at least for 3 of you. As for the rest of you, pretty much going to be free to do whatever you want while they're doing their investigation of the tower. Yeah, you can go shop if you want. Do you want to chop things? Like, what do you want to go chop? Okay, as far as where you guys would be meandering to, you guys are going to be going to that location right next to the Blood Island. So you guys have actually walked over this bridge several times already, at least the majority of you anyway that have been in Luskan. When you guys landed at the Dragon Beach, you would have had to have crossed over the bridge there at Blood Island in order to get over here where One-Eyed Jack's Tavern is at. So you guys would have been in full view of the Host Tower of the Arcane over here on this island. Actually, no, it's not. It is a destroyed ruin. Well, as neat as it looks in that image that's right next to it, of course, this here, that is not at all how it looks now. In its current state, it looks like someone set a bomb off near the top of it. Zach's character would not have been alive at the time that that was detonated. He's too dangerous to be kept alive. This dude was just existing. No, you had to beat the shit out of it and then put it back on. No, you got shot by an iron and wood rod. No. Yeah. Gonna join with them on the bounty, huh? Well, the highest paying bounties that are currently on the board at One Eyed Jax's Tavern um, appears to be that there's some kind of ring of thieves going on that you guys can kind of assume that Break into Years can't be bothered to deal with at this point in time. Either that or they are funding it in some way, shape, or form. They're not exactly an altruistic organization, but regardless, the bounty does exist, and the reward for the culprits specified that they are to be captured alive. The reward is 100 gold pieces per member. Well, that's the bounty that's worth the most gold. Looking for a more bloodthirsty one. What are you looking for? Like a WoW task that's like bring back 10 goblin ears. That is true. There is no mention of maiming on there, so if they're missing a few limbs or digits or most of their face, as long as they can be a, yeah, exactly. Looking for a hunt, huh? Oh, oh Hunter muss hunt. Oh my god. I hated that quest line to get the fucking Blades of Mercy. That was so annoying. I mean, that being said, she was one of the better characters, and honestly, the Hunter fight at the end of the quest line was actually really good. That was actually a very, very good Hunter fight. Yeah. Okay, so Kalmar wants to collect Goblin ears, Strom just wants money, and Dracus wants to hunt. Jesus Christ. You do realize you're probably going to have to touch other people's junk, right? Oh my god. Strom has discovered the scheme that is Big Pharma. There are no cures, only customers. Oh shit. All right. Well, anyway, well, Kalmar, you are able to find something that is going to entertain you, slaughtering some kind of low-level something that I'm not even going to bother to create a screen for. You're just going to be gone for a while. Bye. All right. Strom, I'm assuming you're going to do the looking for the thieves. Okay. So, based on the information, the most likely place that you're going to be looking is in this region over in here, which is basically probably the slummiest place and probably the best place to find a thief. Right. All right. All right, so I will deal with you all individually. The main thing is right now we need to get the host tower business started. So essentially all of you guys are basically going in the same direction. You're all crossing the... well, actually, except for... Yeah, Kalmar would be going out the north gate, so Kalmar would probably cross the shorter bridge to get to the north gate. So let's see. Pretty much you guys would be splitting up right about here. So Dracus is going to continue down this direction. The rest of you guys are going to continue this direction. Team's going to split again to head to Closeguard Island, where Ship Kurth is located. And Strom is going to continue down this path towards Rat Alley. And the only person that I don't know what she's doing is Sylvana. That's probably a fair assumption. Okay. And all things considered, I mean, Risen isn't really needed for any of the other stuff, so they'll probably just hang out with her then. Saves me the trouble of figuring out what he's doing. Pit fighting, yeah. Okay, so the three finger wigglers running around with Camuriel. After you guys reach Closeguard Island, Camuriel gets you guys essentially permission to pass through Shipkurth territory in order to access the host tower. So a little bit of time is lost, essentially getting you guys familiarized with the guards, the appropriate words on the appropriate days to speak in order to be granted access, etc., etc. And then you guys make your way over to the host tower of the Arcane. When you cross the bridge on the opposite side of Close Guard Island, you guys are getting a much better look at the ruins of the host tower. Now, there's still debris scattered all over the place. I mean, a few things you can tell that, people have come here and probably tried to pillage and loot. But for the most part, the structure as a whole is intact at the root of it. But it's probably only half or less as tall as it used to be. For Ziggy, make a history check. Oh, shit. Okay. So, you were able to explain that what happened to the host tower of the Arcane was when the Waterdavian Lords commissioned Captain Deutermont to free the city of Luskan from Drow control, that this was, well, actually, it wasn't Drow control at the time. It was, essentially, they had confirmation that the Archmage who ran the host tower of the Arcane was a Lich by the name of Arkham Greeth. Captain Deutermont and forces from Waterdeep laid siege to Luskan for several weeks. And eventually they cornered Greeth in the tower. And out of desperation, he not only killed himself, but also destroyed the tower, hoping to wipe out Deutermont's forces, as well as the other Waterdavian lords that were with him. In the aftermath, the only surviving commander was Captain Deutermont. And Deutermont was effectively named essentially the High Captain or the Mayor of Luskan afterwards. Now, as far as what went on after that, common knowledge is essentially Deutermont was not managing the city well enough during the winter, and with the damage done due to the engagement, there was some starvation going on. But Shipkurth was able to step in and essentially provide the city with the food that it needed to make it through the winter. But the 5 high captains turned on Captain Deutermont and murdered him, and essentially took the city back under their own control afterwards, naming a high captain of their own. And ever since then, Luskan has been known as a free port. So it does not recognize the authority of Waterdeep. And so pirates are free to dock here at the High Captain's wishes, if they so choose. And there's some politicking that goes on between the 5 High Captains. Right. Of course, seeing the ruin, asking a few questions of the rest of the team that was walking with you. The little tidbits that you actually don't know, Camuriel actually informs you guys that Bragan Dearth was in the city at the time that this happened. And they were the ones that were actually backing Ship Kurth in order to be able to provide food to the city. However, Ship Kurth was not the ship that ended up leading things afterwards due to Brigand Earth didn't have the influence that it does now over the city. Essentially, the old captain, at his passing and his son taking over, he didn't have near the political acumen or clout in order to press the advantage that Shipkurth has basically always had over the city. So another high captain was named at the time. But it wasn't too long after that that Brigand Earth finished infiltrating Shipkurth, and currently Beniago Kurth is the high captain of the city, effectively cementing Brigand Earth's control over the entire city. Though most people don't know it. At least can't confirm it, though. But anyway, now that the history lesson's over with, once you guys actually get to the structure, though, and get inside, those of you that actually have like a semblance of connection with the Weave, you can tell that this definitely is a place of power. There is no doubt in your mind at all whatsoever. The amount of arcane energy that is concentrated in this area, even though the structure itself has been destroyed, is massive. It would be a pleasant sensation. It would be... I mean, it would probably differ from mage to mage on how they would describe it. Me, personally, I would describe it as... probably swimming in a cool pool after the day has been, like, ridiculously hot. Just the... I don't know, the euphoric sensation of being surrounded by something that is satisfying. Right. And I mean, to a certain extent, you would also probably feel some regret that, this structure is no longer, what it once was. So for the little bit of residual power that remains, that's enough to, provide you with that satisfying sensation. But, you're also kind of thinking, God, what would this have been like 100 years ago when it was still whole? Tis a shame indeed. Yes. Upon activating Detect Magic, the very structure itself is actually a magical construct. It's a mix of natural creation, but it is imbued with magic. A magic that you definitely do not recognize as traditional, but it is much more familiar to you because of your ties with your patron. No, he recognizes it to be primordial magic. Right? But while you guys are in there, of course, I can give you the option to essentially take your time investigating the structure as far as it being a viable candidate for what Camuriel is describing for the ritual space. I don't think Theros is actually capable of ritual magic as a warlock, but I know Ziggy is. So, do you guys want to do like quick and dirty skill checks, or do you want to essentially take a 20, take all the time necessary to kind of isolate where you think the best place would potentially be to hold the ritual? Uh, you would probably have the you would probably be able to give directions to both Sankira and Theris in terms of what you should be looking for. Whether it's a description of like a sensation or what you can pick up with detect magic, whether it's a particular shade of color that you can see. Um, but well, given the description of how complex this problem is, precision is far more important than haste. Zach, what's your opinion? Okay, I'm assuming that Joey is probably going to side with the majority vote here. So, you guys taking a 20, this is probably going to result in the rest of the day being spent at the host tower with Camuriel, as you guys are kind of isolating where you think is going to be the best place, kind of chalking out where you think the inlays should potentially be at, and prepping the area for a ritual. By the end of the day, though, you guys are not finished with the task. You will have to return tomorrow, and probably more than likely, at the very least, to get the outlining of what you're doing done and get the ritual space prepped is probably going to take you the vast majority of the next day as well. And from there, once you guys are able to garner the materials and assist Camuriel with laying out the ritual space, doing the inlays for the runes, etc., etc. In total, you guys are probably going to spend 2.5, 3 days working on this. So you guys are going to be dedicated labor for quite a while. I mean, Bibimbap can basically be a gopher if you want him to be. So if they, yeah, I mean, him being able to run back and forth, that leaves them there to be able to continue working. So if he needs to go and speak with someone or whatever, of course he has, benefits of being a rogue anyway. Okay. Mm-hmm. How in the fuck did you roll a max? That is 110% max. Whatever it is that she hit no longer exists in time or space. Actually, you have 2 1s to re-roll in that. Yeah, you. Yeah, yeah, she does. Yeah, so you actually have 3 numbers that you can re-roll. Yes, it's in the lightning crit damage. Yeah, so roll 3 more d6. 3d6. Okay, so basically I just need to subtract 4 from that. So that's going to be an additional 11 damage on top of that. So 23. 32, 43, 43, 53, 55 points of damage in one swing. Okay, Joey, you've been forcibly conscripted for 3 days for labor. You just insulted my entire race. But yes. Okay, so Kalmar just succeeded in doing enough damage in one single swing to wipe out an entire tribe of goblins. Amazing. Um, right, okay, so now we're going to end up dealing with Dracus. So after, let's see, we've got splitting off, Strom's going that direction. Okay, so Dracus, about the time that you get to about right here, or about her. Okay, when you get about right there, um, you can see four members of Ship Souljack come up to you, and one of them steps forward and places a hand in front of you and says, "I need you to stop, sir." Of Ship Souljack. It's one of the major ships for Luskan. One of the five. Are you Dracus Delavan? Then I regret to inform you, but we are placing you under arrest. As another man steps up beside him, producing a set of manacles, the guy that stepped up and stopped him, or stopped you, he says, "You are being charged with the murder of two men on the docks, as well as a third unverified murder." Well, I mean, as far as you guys could tell, they were left unconscious. Your axe did a pretty sizable amount of damage. But the guy holding the manacles, as he opens them up, he looks up at Dracus and he says, "Now, I certainly hope you're not going to make a scene. So you can either come quietly." I mean, if you so choose. I mean, it's always an option to come quietly. The man holding the manacles, he kind of pauses for a moment and he looks over his shoulder, um, and then looks back at Dracus and says, "Sir, this is for our safety more than yours. Forgive us for not trusting you at your word, but you are being charged with 3 murders." Right. Oh. Well, I mean, it's only 4 guards. Time to commit a felony. Mhm. But after that guard had looked over his shoulder and then looked back to Dracus, still holding the open manacles out, expecting Dracus to present his wrists to be bound, um, another person approaches that they're making no attempt at disguising who they are. It is the same adventurer from back in Port Last. Right. Well, remember, you guys, by breaking the army that was blocking the road, they were able to progress forward. So that allowed them to get to Luskin, which probably safe assumption that's the reason why people were holed up there is because they were trying to get to Luskin on the road and were caught up in this. So, but anyway, the adventurer as they approach says, "Come on, Dracus, I know you want to resist. I want you to resist. Give me an excuse to put you in the ground where you fucking belong." Hey, man, if it sounds terrible, it sounds terrible. Reality is often disappointing. I'm not behind anything. You're the one that killed the battle chaplain. And then come to find out that you killed 2 people on the docks? I just happened to overhear that while I was in the Cutlass. That some man in armor, this giant of a man, just beat the absolute shit out of 2 people and left them to die in the street. So yeah, it's a little convenient that you're just killing people wherever you go. You don't belong in a cell. And honestly, Prisoner's Carnival is too good for you. So go ahead, resist. Right there is where that's happening at. Yep. Strom's there. By this point, the rest of the party is here, and then Sylvana and Risen are up here. Hey, I wasn't the one that prompted this situation. Well, Kalmar went the absolute opposite direction of everybody else, so... No body, no crime. Oh no. Huh? Kick. Oh, I don't blame you. So anyway. So what are you doing? Well, ask me a couple questions. Ask faster. I am going to commit a great crime. Oh man. Heard about it. Heard about it. You missed that. Yes, I've seen that episode. That was a great episode. Is this an interrogation or foreplay? Oh, you're gonna do the angry thing, huh? Oh boy. Renegade for life. Alrighty. Yes, you guys did manage to achieve a short rest. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like you're just fucking following me at this point. Time to put you in the ground. Ching chong ling long, let me get that dick. Mm-hmm. Right. No, you talk about a lot of things. So as far as like referring to the other thing, is this the other thing, the other thing, or the other thing, or perhaps even the supposed other thing? Yes, I unga, therefore I bunga. Well, as soon as Dracus moves the axe down into both hands, the four guards clear out of the way, and the adventurer then draws the big ass fucking sword off of their back. Oh, Rame, the Fume Knight? Yeah, his name's Rame. Raime. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's probably close to that big, maybe a little bit bigger. It looks like Strom would be able to wield this in two hands without any difficulty. Uh, I mean, technically you could. It would just be a greatsword that would be scaled to your size. As far as I know, there are no swords that actually give you the reach ability. Hypothetically. Well, here's the thing. It not only comes down to the length of the weapon, but the ability to control it as well. Well, I mean, Strom already technically has reach because of his size. He big nig. I'm so damn big. Yeah, it just literally lights on fire. No, you would have to be wielding it in order to activate it. You need to invest in Alchemist Fire, sir. Oh boy. Wait, what's not heavy? Big on big. Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to be an initiative roll. So you go ahead and roll first. Initiative. Since it's just between the two of us, we can just roll it in the chat. I mean, roll in the Roll20 chat. I'm not going to bother like opening up the turn order and shit like that because it's literally whoever goes first. Yeah, I got to do the same thing, so 12 will be the magic number, so regardless, you're going to win the initiative draw. Yep. Oof. I got to say, if they don't, then it makes those two warframes irrelevant going forward if they're not updated with that new. I am confused. Oh, what? Wait a minute. Oh, it's because he did the roll at advantage, and one of them was a nat 1, the other one was a 14. That's why. No, it says 1d20 comma 1d20 keep highest one plus 16.3. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So 16.13. So yeah, your roll, that was your roll. I should have hovered over that. Hmm. All right. So anyway, hit me with your best shot. It's issuing a specific command. Yep, that was you engaging your rage prior to doing anything. Oh, it's already been brought in. Correct. Okay, so 32 minus 5. So that puts you at 27. So that is a hit. And then they need to make a constitution save, right? Oh, snap. Okay, so they'll have one stack on them. I think it's like 8 plus proficiency plus strength or con or something like that. 8 plus proficiency plus 3? Um, don't you? Oh my god, me. Oh, I just heard her. Yep. Okay. Exact same number, so no, it's not. They actually failed to save on the second one too, because now the DC is 16 instead of 15. Oh, wait a minute. 12, 34. Yeah. Yep. So now there's 2 total stacks. Yep. Oh, push them back. Okay. I think that's pretty much where your limit is. Okay. So you went from being, so they're 10 feet away from you now. There's a 10-foot gap, so they would need to step forward. Okay. Well, they only step forward 5 feet, and then you realize that the length of that blade is actually going to hit you. Well, by Onage's reckoning. You don't have an accurate name for this weapon. Oh, as a player, this is statted off of the full blade. What was that command? Yeah. Oh, really? There's an error with the formula? How in the hell can the game do that then? And I can't. There we go. That was what I wanted. Yep. So 26 to hit. Yep. Okay, so... And also, going to deploy a superiority dice. And you were going to need to make a DC 19 strength saving throw. Let's see. When you make a melee weapon attack, you have resistance. If you're able to cast spells, advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws while raging. Yep. All right. So you're good there. But 36 damage is the damage dealt, so reduce as necessary. Slashing. Yeah, it's physical type. Yep, that hits. And I'm going to need another strength saving throw. Okay, so I will. Okay, so you, sir, you are now prone. Yep, you have been subjected to a trip attack. Dracus was just knocked flat on his ass. But he's trying to see if he doesn't get knocked flat on his ass. Your the stance of the mountain thing that you had before, that would prevent you from being knocked over. Yeah. No, I don't think you have any way of avoiding that. So, let's see. Yep. Yep, so in your case, you would round down for the damage. Okay. So now at this point, All right, so in your current position, being prone, all attacks will default at advantage for melee combat. So that will effectively, doing what I'm doing, give me double advantage. And also, my two favorite words when put together, action surge. That is a hit, and I'm just going to roll for the other one. Whoops. That still hit? Okay. Alright, so now... Oops. Oop. Alright, actually... Hold on a second, I gotta re-roll 2 dice. Okay, so... That's going to be 3 more damage on top of that, so that's going to be 30 damage total. And I need you to make me a Wisdom saving throw DC 19. You were close. Alright, now I gotta roll one more set of damage here. God damn it. And then another 25. Alright, now as the result of the failure of that wisdom save, you are now frightened. So you can no longer willingly move closer to the target while you can still draw a line of sight to the target. And what is that idea? I will forewarn you, you will be at triple disadvantage at that point. Because you're going to be at disadvantage for being prone already. You're going to be at disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws while frightened. And a disadvantage for having your eyes closed. The odds of you hitting... Bring it on, bitch biscuit. So you are going to try to stand up, correct? Okay. All right, so attack of opportunity at advantage because you are prone, currently trying to stand while in melee range. That is an 18. Okay, so that is a hit. So 2d10. And that's going to be another 30 damage. Yes, that is a Joey. Oof. Well, I will reread the frightened condition. A frightened creature has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within line of sight. The creature can't willingly move closer to the source of its fear. Correct. Right. So you are effectively outside of attack range. There is a 5-foot gap between the two of you. You fucking what, mate? No, actually, I didn't. Good luck. Well, there's a where you're currently standing right now. If you move without taking the disengage action, then, well, the attack of opportunity has already happened. But in the subsequent rounds, if you do not take the disengage action while moving outside of the threatened square, then that will result in an attack of opportunity. In your current situation, because the attack of opportunity has already been resolved, you're free to step out of the threatened square. So then they would have to move closer to you. But there's not much benefit in that unless you're planning on running away. You are frightened until the end of their next turn. There is a limit. That is true. So that's what you're going to do, is you're going to go into your trench fighter stance again. Okay. All the holding of an action is going to be kind of pointless because you're just flipping back and forth, but basically, yeah, there's nothing you can do with your attack action. Short of, let's move away as far away as away will let me get away. So that flips back to their turn. Alright, so... First attack, 23 hits. Second attack. Oops. Also hits. It's close. Let's see. First set of damage is a 31. That's going to be the same thing as if you took 30. And then 29. That'll be 9 points of damage because it's rounded down. Mm-hmm. Then I think that is pretty much all they can do. Actually, you know what? We'll use the Savage Attacker. We'll re-roll that last set of damage. See if we get anything better. Nope. So the first, no, it didn't. No, it it moved down by one. So yeah. So using the first total. Mm-hmm. All right. So your turn. You are correct. You are no longer frightened. Due to being prone. Because you were essentially moving within a threatened square. Now, considering you need to move 5 feet to get closer and you were already in a threatened square, you're going to get attacked again. I mean, there's literally a square in between the two of them. We're essentially using the theater of the mind. At the moment, the adventurer is currently beating Dracus pretty handily right now. Get McFucked. Well, what you gonna do, butt sausage? I feel as though it's too quiet in here. Probably. Lines of cocaine? You hanging out with Hunter Biden? Oh. Oh, somebody fell asleep. Did that motherfucker seriously fall asleep? Bullshit, you snored. If I catch you again, I'm throwing you in the snoring prison. Oh god, yeah. Every time you fall off of like a 6-inch cliff, just the bone breaking noise. Yes. Yes. Oh man, meanwhile Kalmar's just like hmm. Clock's ticking. No, I could just see her grabbing her king, jumping over the table, and jamming it down their throat. Just like, this is what you wanted? Here you go. You can fucking have it, god damn it. So you are opting to drop your weapon and yield. All right. So plant the axe in the ground, hold your hands up out to the sides, palms up, offer of surrender. This is true. Uh, Joey, are you currently in the bathroom taking a shit? Right, and the only thing Joey's thinking about is. Well, anyway, as Dracus signals that he is done with the fight, recognizing that defeat is inevitable, and Thanos raises the yeah, I was exactly going there. Probably. All right. So anyway, as the adventurer braces for the next attack and then sees that Dracus has planted his axe into the ground, they place their sword directly against Dracus's neck, putting just enough pressure to know that if they really, really wanted to, that was going to go right through the side of his neck. And they step forward. Oh, he can keep grinning all he wants. Grinting. He ungas, therefore he bungas. But anyway, so at this point, being in a, let's see, do you think, how committed is Dracus to this? Is he like preparing for a strike, or is he legitimately surrendering? Are you though? Hmm. Anyway, yeah. Well, I am going to take this as, while yes, you might be, warrior always prepared, you have put yourself in a position where I could potentially classify you as, I don't want to say helpless, but somewhere between what prone and helpless would be. You have put yourself in a position where, while yes, you may be mentally ready for combat, you are not physically ready for combat because of your current stance. Because you are trying to show an offer of surrender. Would that be a fair assumption? Yes and no. Posture's broken. All right. anyway, anyway, while keeping the sword placed next to Dracus's neck, the adventurer calls for the guards to come up, of course, strip you of your weapons. So, in that position, they come collect the axe off the ground. They take the axe off of your back, as well as the whatever weapons are present on your person. And then one guard goes on either side of you, pulls your hands to the front, while the one that was carrying the manacles then slaps them over your wrists, binding them tight. And then, just as that's wrapping up, the adventurer steps forward, takes one hand off of the hilt of the sword, peels off their helmet, and you recognize the color of the hair spilling down their shoulders. That is Dracus's sister. And she looks you dead in the eyes and says, "And now I've done what I swore to do." And in that little moment of disbelief, she just sucker punches you in the jaw and knocks you unconscious. Oh yeah, it's a great axe. Still, it's not like Mjolnir. Well, it's not like Dracus is impossibly strong. Yes, it's a heavy weapon, but it's not like one person can't lift it. Would they be able to wield it effectively? Probably not. But I mean, for a standard humanoid of medium size. Depends on what the manacles are made out of and whether or not they've been magically enchanted. But regardless, Dracus is in La La Land. Three of you are currently working on drawing pictures on the ground. Two of you are hanging out at the bar. One of you murdered an entire tribe of goblins and is currently giggling as she laces them onto a fucking string to wear around her neck, the fucking psychopath that she is. And Strom is wandering through Rat Alley trying to find a gang of thieves. And that is where we are going to wrap up this session. Yeah, you got the 64 box set. Stop using beige. I wanted you to use brown. Catnap, quote unquote. A pillow would come flying. Jesus. Yeah, no, we still gotta let the dogs out and all that shit before we get going. Who's Dave? Depends. Whenever we go to like well, no, whenever we go to a restaurant and they're like, "Oh, can I get a name for the order?" She always uses my name, and I'm like, "Why do you keep calling yourself Dave? This makes no sense. Your name is Bree." And it just baffles me why she wants to use my name. It's almost like she doesn't like her own name. What's the point of fighting? It's the pronunciation that matters. Oh my god. Yes. Yes, I have been getting your messages. I will address them when I have the time. Oh god. All right, but anyway, yes. At that point in time, I did not have my Discord up on my second screen. I was looking at a map. I seen that my Discord was flashing, and I was keeping an eye on the um, D&D chat on my phone. So that was all I was really looking at. Because I was playing 7 Days to Die until there was enough of you in here where it's like, okay, we can start getting started. I didn't want to be distracted from what I was working on. Well, I seen you and Zach sitting in here, and I'm like, there's a Zach. Gross. I mean, that's perfectly fine. You usually shit talk me whenever I jump into the group, so. This is true, but you especially single me out, and I appreciate it. What? Oh my god.
I'm hungry. Let's get going.
You think I'm not hungry?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, listen here. Listen here. All right.
Dave, I'm not,
Oh my god.
I don't have
All right. So I have been threatened. I am being forcibly summoned. So I'm going to wrap up the stream and I'm going to jump out of here and go do important science work.